luxury space hotel to blast off in 2021. To infinity and where poor people can't afford to go. Startup Orion Span announced on Thursday it plans to build a luxury space hotel to launch in late 2021 and start accepting guests by 2022. A 12-day stay at Aurora Station will begin at $9.5 million. The space station will be roughly the same size as a large private jet cabin. It will be 43.5 feet long by 14.1 feet wide and have a pressurized volume of 5,650 cubic feet. It will orbit in an altitude of 200 miles. For comparison, the International Space Station is 357 feet long and has an internal pressurized volume of 32,333 cubic feet. The Aurora Station will be able to accommodate 4 paying guests and 2 crew members. Orion Span is also planning to add new modules to the space hotel over time. Long term, the company says it hopes to sell actual space and new modules for living or subleasing. Keep looking up.
More space junk to fall to Earth. There's a whole lot of junk about to enter Earth's atmospheric trunk. According to Space.com, the rocket body of an Indian polar satellite launch vehicle is expected to fall to Earth around April 3rd. It weighs 907 kilograms. Part of a European Space Agency satellite is also expected to drop to Earth on the same day. Fortune reports that Kazakh spacecrafts Flock 2E3 and 2E6 are expected to plummet to Earth on Wednesday and on Friday this week. Popular Science reports that 200 parts of space debris fell to Earth in 2014 and 400 fell in 2016. Most land in the Pacific Ocean. The only person known to have been hit by falling debris is Lottie Williams. She was walking in a park in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1997 when she was struck by a 6-inch chunk of metal traveling at a low speed from behind. Scientists believe it came from a NASA second-stage Delta rocket.
Private companies drive new space race at NASA. NASA says it soon may be able to launch astronauts from U.S. soil to the International Space Station. Important project milestones are coming up for NASA's 2 commercial crew partners, Boeing and SpaceX, with several flight tests, including manned missions slated for 2018. Boeing is working on the CST-100 Starliner. The spacecraft can seat up to 7 and is meant to send astronauts to the space station. 3 Starliners are currently in production, with 1 set to carry astronauts next year. The pressurized vessel can be reused 10 times. SpaceX, which has flown cargo missions to the ISS with its Dragon spacecraft, plans to use the Dragon 2 to send astronauts to space. The Dragon 2 is the latest version of SpaceX's capsule model. It's designed to seat 7 astronauts. Boeing and SpaceX must show that both of their systems are ready to start regular flights to the space station in order to meet NASA's requirements. SpaceX has its first test flight set for February, while Boeing's launch is planned for June.
Scientists hope to launch interstellar fleet of laser-propelled spacecraft. A hit team of renowned scientists, Silicon Valley elites, and a billionaire businessman have come together to launch a fleet of postage stamp-sized interstellar spacecraft. Sounds like the pitch for a bad Bond movie, right? Well, if it was, 007 would have his hands full. Because this team includes scientist supreme Dr. Stephen Hawking, Russian billionaire Yuri Milner, and Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg. All technology, including the camera for the tiny interstellar spacecraft, will be placed inside a postage stamp-sized chip. Called a star chip, this device would come with a light sail to form a nanocraft. The sail has a surface that would use Earth-based laser light to propel it along. The lasers would come from a mile-wide laser array potentially situated 13,000 feet above sea level in the Atacama Desert in South America. Using light energy from the 100-gigawatt laser array, the team plans to send a fleet of these nanocrafts to our closest star system, Alpha Centauri. If successful, a nanocraft could travel at 20% of the speed of light, or 134.2 million miles per hour, using laser light propulsion. At that speed, a nanocraft could traverse the 25 trillion miles to Alpha Centauri in a matter of decades, while a current spacecraft would take thousands of years. Dubbed Breakthrough Starshot, Milner has invested around $100 million in the nanocraft concept. However, it will still potentially cost billions and could take up to 30 years to get a swarm of the devices into space if the concept is shown to be successful.
No more photography duty for astronauts. The Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency has developed a cute floating camera drone that can lighten the workload of astronauts on the International Space Station. The INT ball weighs 1 kilo and has a diameter of 15 centimeters. It uses the existing drone technology, miniaturized altitude control sensors and actuators in an all-in-one module. The INT ball arrived at the International Space Station last month and is remotely controlled by the JAXA Tsukuba Space Center from the ground. In the future, the INT ball is expected to take over photography duties from the space crew and will be able to operate autonomously. At the moment, astronauts on the ISS spend around 10% of their time just taking photos and videos. With this camera drone's help, they now perhaps will have a bit more personal time in space.